let's start then, shall we, guys? At the top of the IPL, of course, it's very early stages. But Punjab are top. Play 3, 2 wins. Yesterday, no result against KKR. They knocked off a 200-plus chase for the 9th time in the IPL. The most any team in the tournament has done that, and they got there with five wickets to spare against the Chennai Super Kings and 8 balls to spare. The top 4 all made between 36 and 50, with 3 of them striking at over 160. Shreyas Iyer top scored in their first game. We did that game together, didn't we, Jarrod? They chased down 163 to beat Gujarat. Cooper Connelly finishing not out on 72. So, Jarrod, are the Punjab Kings once again real, genuine challengers to go all the way?
Yeah, I think coming into the season, I probably had them ranked about 3rd or 4th, and I don't think I've seen anything at the moment to change them from that. I think they've played good cricket at the moment. I wonder if we get to the games where we're talking about having to score 220, 240 consistently against Mumbai and RCB, whether they can do that. That would be my biggest question of them. But they've got a couple of interesting batting options. Their bowling is really, really good in a league where bowling is not very good at the moment. So I think there's some things there. I'm not sure I've seen them play brilliantly so far this season. They've racked up wins, but I'm not sure they've been exceptional so far. So they've still got, I think, some improvement in them.
We spoke a lot last week about, like, most of the top 5s on paper all look pretty good, don't they? All look pretty explosive. But there's a few teams in terms of the bowling where you're not 100% sure with where they're at. But it feels like with Punjab, Lockie Ferguson's come back into the team as well when he becomes available again. That does look with Arshdeep, with Chahal, with Barlow started okay, Jansen's left arm experience. Maybe one of the stronger bowling lineups behind Mumbai, maybe?
No, definitely. I really like their bowling a lot. Chahal seems to be back in form. Bartlett was swinging the ball violently yesterday in that game as well, and Marco Jansen in that sort of back half of the power play is becoming an absolute beast, right? So their bowling isn't an issue for me. I think that they overperformed slightly with the bat last year, and I think they need to do that again to be a genuine contender. This washout yesterday could be a big issue for them too, because they would have won that game, right? KKR didn't have their best bowling lineup. They'd already lost their batters at the top of the order. The ball was still swinging. They were going to really struggle in that game, KKR, and you want to get your full amount of points on it. But yeah, I just want to see, I think with Punjab, I just want to see them play a full game all the way through. I feel a bit more comfortable. The game that we commentated, was that the one that went down to the last over in the end?
The one we went to, I think they won with a couple over spare from memory.
One of the other games, I thought they let it drift at times. But yeah, no, I think they're a really good side. I certainly think they're one of the 4 teams that have a genuine chance of winning the title.
The one we did, they did chase it down against Gujarat with 5 balls to spare.
Yeah, when they didn't need to. Do you know what I mean? It's just little things like that where I'm like...
But it was a tricky wicket though, wasn't it? Like, no one really, apart from Cooper Connelly, managed to get in that day. But yeah, sure, they won that with 5 balls to spare. Abhishek, Shreyas Iyer is the captain. He's got a win percent ratio of over 60%. That's better than MS Dhoni's captain, better than Robert Sharma. He's the only one to have captained 3 different teams to the IPL final. Of course, won it once, didn't he, with KKR. 604 runs at a strike rate of 175 in the IPL since the start of 2025. In India, do you think he gets almost the respect he deserves as captain in terms of what he's done? And, why don't we see him captain India more often and more frequently?
I don't think he gets any credit as a captain or as a player.
Why
if
is
you look
that?
at the Indian squad, I would have him in every single Indian squad.
Because he didn't make the T20 World Cup squad, did he?
He didn't make the T20 World Cup. He doesn't make half the time. They don't even consider him for selection, which is so bizarre from sitting outside and looking at his performance, the way he has performed and the way he has led the team as well. He should definitely be one of the front contenders for leading India in shorter formats, not just playing for India. And my prediction from this year's start of the season has been that they're my favorite team. And the main reason being Shreyas Iyer, the way he has played in the last 12 to 18 months, the way he has led Punjab last year, before that, the way he led KKR and won the title. He was shown the door after winning the title with KKR. That was so bizarre. Nobody
Is that possibly
knew what
the worst ever piece of business in the history of the IPL?
I think so. Whatever went in, whatever it was, they should have sorted it out. You cannot let a captain who just won you the IPL and who's performed so magnificently go for some real issues. Even if it was money, you could have paid him you're paying everyone so much money. I don't think money was a concern there.
Yeah, well, look at what they pay Cam Green this year. You're like, how does that make sense?
You need to know something very important here, Abhishek. He's a KKR fan, and it's the only thing he
absolutely.
cares about. And he has been so upset about this since it happened.
My Cam Green question's coming to you in a minute, by the way. Okay?
But I'm a Kolkata guy. I'm born and raised in Calcutta.
They're testing my patience, Abhishek.
But going back to Punjab, I think they've got so many bases covered in terms of their batting. I think they've got such a brilliant batting with so many good youngsters. I think they've got a very good mix of young cricketers and some real good experience. So I think they make them very dangerous.
Do you agree with Jarrod, though, that maybe the batting overperformed last year and possibly it's not as strong as the bowling on paper?
I think they've got a very strong batting. I think with Shreyas Iyer coming in and leading this side, I think we'll see a bit more calmness this year. And also, Connelly is batting beautifully. He makes the batting. I mean, he gives them the depth they were missing maybe last year. So, for me, they are the side to watch for. And again, RCB has started brilliantly. We'll talk about it later on. But RCB, again, looking very dangerous.
A word on Cooper Connelly, Jarrod. He played lovely in his first game of the season, unbeaten half-century. He finished not out. He got them there, didn't he? Batting at number 3, real responsibility from Ricky Ponting. There's about 5,000 Aussies in the Punjab Kings setup. But is Cooper Connelly so far leading the race for your favourite Aussie in Punjab?
You know, there's so many. I think James Hopes is still the assistant coach. He's my favourite.
Brad Haddon is part of the coaching team as well?
They're just all over the bench, aren't they? It's ridiculous.
What is Shane Watson doing in Kolkata, by the way? How did he not get the gig in Punjab?
But I think the thing with Connelly at the moment is, I think in the second game when he went in early against spin, we saw that there's a bit of a weakness there. So if they can make sure that he starts off against pace bowling a little bit, I think that's a better way to start him. So they might have to manipulate his entry points a little bit. I think in the game that we called as well, he looked a little bit at sea against spin early on. Once he faces spin after about 8 to 10 balls, he looks like he's a really good hitter of pace on flat pitches. And, you know, he's got that sort of rigid technique of his, that sort of top-handy technique, but he's quite powerful and he can hit the ball in a lot of areas. He's a very, very talented player. Also, he hasn't bowled yet, right? When he came into the Australian team, he was a bowler. They only need 1 or 2 overs every now and again out of him, but if they can squeeze that, that's a huge bonus.
Cam Green, the IPL's most expensive overseas player. Again, very early days, we should say, but yesterday he was caught behind off Xavier Bartlett.
It was a beautiful ball.
Off his second ball. Violent swing, you said, didn't you, at the top of this show? A score of 18 against Mumbai, and he was run out, wasn't he, for 2 against Sunrisers Hyderabad. Do you think number 3 is the best spot for him in this Kolkata team?
I think the team's, if he's not going to bowl, and this isn't a slight on his batting, I just think the team is better without him at the moment. I think if you really wanted to improve that team, and this is the issue, is the 2 people you would probably move on is Rahane and Green. And so that's your captain and your most expensive player, right? So they're in a really awkward position in how they do that. But if you look at it, they could be opening with Seifert and Allen and use a bunch of young, talented Indian players throughout the middle of the order. But, you know, we've been doing some research on them over my team, and we've been looking at it going, they don't have anyone who can play spin.
Right.
They've got a whole team of people who just smash pace everywhere. So it's just not a very balanced side at the moment. And traditionally, why was KKR balanced? Because they had a seam bowling all-rounder and a spin bowling all-rounder. And at the moment, they don't have Andre Russell anymore, and Cameron Green can't bowl. So I just think the whole balance is kind of off in that side as it comes back. And what's the main strength? The main strength is having Varun Chakravarti and Sunil Narayan. And Varun Chakravarti's getting hammered, right? Yeah. So there's just so many issues everywhere you look with KKR.
There are also 2 other teams that have started with 4 points from 4. Rajasthan are one of those. Excellent with the ball against CSK, bowling them out for 127 in their first game. Archer and Berg are really good up front. And yes, Vaibhav Suryavanshi is still good at cricket. He scored 52 from 17 balls. They then beat Gujarat in a cracking game, scoring 210 and defending it off the final ball. Jarrod top scoring with 65 also runs as well in that game for Yashavji Jaiswal. They ended up winning by 6 runs. Abhishek, Vaibhav Suryavanshi, not that he needed to remind everybody that he's like, last year wasn't. I mean, can you fluke 100 in IPL debut? Probably not. But he did show, after being dropped first ball in the first game of 2026, that, yeah, he's got it, hasn't he?
I think he's got it, yes. He's a special player. And we have seen it last year. I think everyone got into a bit of a shock. There were a lot of debates because a lot of ex-players said that this is the year where he needs to prove that is he that good, because a lot of times you can have a very good season the first season, but when you come back people have read a bit more about you. They've seen all the videos. They know your strengths and weaknesses. But he's proved them wrong so far. It's very early, still very early, still 2 games down.
If you had to guess when he makes his India debut in any format, when do you think it would be?
I think it'll be in the next couple of years. I think he should get an opportunity in the next couple of years, because what you don't want to wait for too long and then suddenly there is a massive dip in his form and then he gets lost. And we have seen that with so many players. If you've got a special player in hand, see what he can do at the international level. Is he good enough at the international level? Can he soak up that pressure?
Rajasthan 9th last year, winning just 4 matches. Kumar Sangakkara was the director, who's now come back in as the head coach. Rian Parag is captaining. Jadeja came in. Samsu left. There was that really big trade, wasn't there? Lots of wrist spinners came in. Ravi Bishnoi started off really well. He's been in the wickets. We know the top 2 are in good form, are a great partnership. Power in the middle with Hetmeyer and Ferreira. We also saw Archer and Berger, didn't we, in that first game, take the new ball and look really, really good. At the absolute bare minimum, are Rajasthan going to be a lot better this year than what they were last year? Or has this maybe been a little bit of a, not a fluke start, but still got lots to prove, Jarrod?
I think they've got a lot to prove. What I would say is, if you look at them at the moment, I thought Luhandre Pretorius would play, and so far they don't need him because everyone is batting so well. That's a huge step up from where I thought they would have to go. I had no real issues with their batting, but their batting's done brilliantly so far. Only thing I would say is that a lot of their success so far has come on the back of Ravi Bishnoi and Nandre Berger. I think Ravi Bishnoi has 5 wickets this year, and he had 9 wickets all of last year.
Good start.
So you're like, well, if you keep bowling like that, that's a huge plus. He looks like he's bowling a little bit quicker to me, and it's working. If him and Nandre Berger keep bowling and you've got Jofra and all that batting talent, I think it's a side, right? But we have to see that form over a longer period rather than just a couple of games. But partnering Jofra with Nandre Berger has been an absolute masterstroke at the moment. And the top 3, top 5, however you want to look at it, there's lots of 6s there.
Yeah, for me, I think the most important in the IPL, what we have seen in the last so many years, is when do you peak as a team, as a player. A lot of times you have seen team peaking very early in the season, winning 2 or 3 back-to-back games, then go into that losing 7 or 8 on the bounce. And that has happened with so many teams over the years. So to be consistent for that long, it's a long tournament, it's over 2-month tournament. So you got to find that balance. It's very important for every individual as well as the team.
The third team with 100% is RCB, and over the weekend we saw something pretty special, didn't we? From 3 off 6, Tim David went on to go 65 from 23 in a spell at T20 hitting that I think was truly remarkable. RCB 250 for 3.
Did we get a measurement on the 6?
Oh my God, that one was
a long way away. It went a long way. Yes, they beat CSKA 250 for 3 from 20 overs, winning by 43 runs. And yet in his 52 match IPL career so far, Tim David, he's hit more 6s than 4, and so far in the IPL 2026 he's faced just 35 balls, already got 9 6s. Was yesterday just a real example of why Tim David for so many years has been kind of one of the kind of real franchise kind of marquee batters, should we say, that teams want in their middle order?
Yeah, look, I think what happened was there was a period of time where there weren't that many players who were really good at just whacking 6s at the death. So we ended up with people kept getting pushed up the order, right? And we didn't have as many of those sort of Darren Sammy type players that had existed beforehand when T20 first started. And Tim David started as that guy. And so everyone wanted him because you had someone who could come in for 4 overs and perhaps score 35 runs, right? Over and over again. But what Tim David has done, and he's been like this his whole career, is he's just kept working on it. And when he first started, he could not face spin at all, right? And now you can actually get him to face spin. And I think he hit a couple of those 6s against Noor Ahmed, who's one of the best spinners. I think he hit 20 off 5 off him, didn't he? And so you can push him further and further up the order. And so you've got a guy who can hit basically a 6 every 3 balls at the death, who can now bat in the middle overs and also do it against spin. So he's gone from being a player that should play in lots of franchises to being a genuine star. And we always knew he could hit like this. It's the fact that he can bat up the order that makes him so much more dangerous now.
It's pretty much the same team on paper that won it last year. Still Josh Hazlewood to come back in. They're the defending champions. Are they the strongest team in the competition still?
See, saying that they're the strongest team is very difficult because all the teams are so close to each other in the top 4, whoever goes in the top 4. But I think, you can say that they look like one of the strongest side in the team. And they'll again push everyone else for the title. It's such a balanced side. And now the only issue has been their bowling over the years, and now I think they've sorted their bowling out. Tim David, going back to him, I think he's an incredible hitter. Again, he'll be challenged on different surfaces in India. As the summer kicks in, the pitches get slower and lower. That's where he'll be really challenged. Because we know that on Chinnaswamy, everyone has found success, especially players like him, where the ball doesn't deviate, the ball doesn't stop, the ball doesn't turn. But when he goes to different parts of India, I think that's where the real challenge will be for Tim David.
Yeah, and to be fair, Australia used him up the order in Sri Lanka as well. So they're kind of already trusting him. So it'll be interesting. On the bowling front, has anyone looked at Krunal Pandya's form in this year? So last year I kept waiting for Krunal Pandya to get hit, and it never happened.
Never happened.
He just bowled incredibly all the way through. And this year, I think he's bowled 5 overs in 2 games, and he seems to be bowling underarm bounces half the time. Like, he's going at like 14 runs and over, I think.
Yeah.
Even I could probably hit underarm bounces.
I don't know if you could.
To the boundary, do you not think?
I'm not sure there's a type of bowling you could hit.
No, probably not.
Didn't you get bowled out by an 8-year-old
I
in a
think
game?
he was 9, but yeah. So Tim David hitting them nicely. Rajat Paditar also hit them pretty well. We're looking for a good headline, Abhishek, for this YouTube video. So do either of you have anything fun or controversial to say about Virat Kohli?
Does he spending an awful lot of time here and still going and scoring runs? I just don't understand how that can happen. He hardly hits a ball.
Does he qualify as an overseas player now?
Yeah, he can. I think Middlesex are looking into it.
I saw there was a story which he ended up replying to it on his social media. Someone was like, he asked to fly back to London in between games, and Virat was like, just to let everyone know, this is absolutely not true. I am not doing that at all. Are there any? I mean, you think about Josh Hazlewood, don't you? When Jacob Duffy came in, had that great start, didn't he, in his first game? They've also still got him to come back into the team, don't they?
Yeah, I think a fascinating thing will be Duffy's taking so many wickets. Do they want to use Duffy and Hazlewood together? It's a bit of an overlap at the same position, but
they wouldn't play Romario Shepherd then.
Well, I mean, Romario Shepherd's still a weak spot in that side if they have to make him bowl. But yeah, like I think they've got so many options, but they do need Krunal Pandya to at least be average this year.
Yeah.
But if Hazlewood comes back in for Duffy, Hazlewood has been taking almost as many wickets as Duffy, but he doesn't go for any runs. So they can actually slightly upgrade.
Yeah. I think both of them should play because of the height factor. I mean, it makes a massive difference because you just get that extra bit of bounce, and it's just the difference between a ball going hit for a 6 or you picking up a wicket. And we have seen it so many times.
Let's now take stock on where the England players are at 1 or so week into the IPL. Let's start with Sunrisers. Liam Livingstone and David Payne, part of that team. Livingstone made his first appearance of the season for Sunrisers over the weekend. 14 off 20 in their defeat to Lucknow. He didn't play in the first 2 games. He batted at 4. David Payne was dropped after going none for 35 off 2 overs against RCB. We were surprised last week, Jarrod, weren't we, when Sunrisers didn't pick Livingstone in their first game.
You were.
Having spent... Well, I like to see the England players go up, but I think you thought it was peculiar because of how much money they spent on him and then didn't play him, which maybe was a bit weird.
Yeah, I thought... I mean, I don't think they should have bought him. I think they did a panic buy at the last minute. That was more your point, wasn't it? Yeah, I think they did a panic buy at the last minute was the second round of the auction because they made a bunch of mistakes. And then I think now they feel like they have to use him. This was did you see this innings? It was absolutely bizarre. He was trying to hit the ball over the leg side. It was going over the offside. And the worst thing is, if he just faced 25 balls, the pitch completely flattened out, and Liam Livingstone would have hit everything for 6 on that pitch after that point, right? He would have gone ballistic. So I feel for him. He was batting when it was still really difficult. It was about 5 overs where, I mean, what they score 35 runs in the first 10 overs, and then they had that incredible partnership where they were scoring at 17 runs and over at one point. So unfortunately for Livingston, he probably missed out on the good batting conditions, but he didn't look in form early on. He did look a little bit like, I need to make an impact here. It didn't quite work for him.
I think I've seen that over the years, and I've seen that with teams I've been involved. The moment you pay a heavy price for a player, as a franchise, somehow you feel that doesn't matter if he gets runs, matter if he gets wickets or not, he's got to play because you paid so much money for him, and which is so bizarre. I mean, you pay the money for somebody, yes, fine. If it doesn't work, you got to go to the next guy, even if he's the cheapest guy in the team. It doesn't matter. But I've seen that mistake made over and over again over the years. And again, as Jarrod said, that Liam Livingstone was a panic buy. They did not want him in the first round. They couldn't get the players they wanted. Oh my God, we need to get somebody who can hit the ball for 6. So let's go to Liam Livingstone. But again, Liam Livingstone, if we see his performance over the years in the IPL, it's always been very inconsistent. Yes, you will get one innings where he goes and he looks $1 million and he plays a bizarre innings, but suddenly then next 5 innings you'll get nothing from him. He's always been that sort of a player. And if the team's picking players like him, and again I'll refer to Glenn Maxwell, he was very similar to what Liam Livingstone does in the IPL. And finally, they've realized that Maxwell he shouldn't be picked anymore, and he wasn't picked anymore. I think same could happen with Liam. If he doesn't get accustomed to those conditions and be a bit more consistent than he has been.
I know this is an England section. One brief question to you on the Sunrisers. Are they the definition of having a really good batting lineup, but then with the ball there was just nowhere near enough quality there to take them deep in this tournament?
I mean, the bowling attack is very poor, but they also dropped Harshal Patel the other day. Who drops your second best bowler when your bowling is poor? Like, I don't even. And they were like, we needed to get an extra spinner in. I was like, yes, you have 4 other guys you could drop. Don't drop the guy that you know is going to be pretty handy to you. Yeah. So I think they've been all over the shop. Obviously, they made this. They had to bring David Payne in, and I feel for David Payne. The first game they stuffed him up by not giving him the new ball.
That was peculiar, right? He's a new ball bowler who didn't bowl the first couple of overs.
Yeah, and then the next game he just, it got away from him. There was some beautiful... Was it Finn Allen that took him down, I think, in the following game?
Yeah.
And we probably won't see him again. But those of us who've been watching...
Thanks for coming, David.
Yeah, but those of us who know about how good David Payne is, he could have been in the IPL any of the last 3 years.
His record in the Blast is phenomenal.
It's just he's got a little bit older, and he's probably lacking, like, not even a yard, but like half a yard.
Yeah.
And he just needs to nip it through a little bit. I'd love to see him get another game. He's actually bowled. If you look at the IPL so far, no one will notice this, but he's actually bowled quite well with the old ball. But with the new ball, he's just been coughing up runs, and he's generally a lock with the new ball. So, look, I still think he's a fantastic player, but I'd be shocked if we see too much more of him in this tournament.
Yeah, it was KKO went 9 for 35 in 2 overs. Finn Allen went after him. We've got lots of other England players to get through in a short space of time. Talking about England openers, maybe. I'm not saying Phil Salt's spot is in jeopardy because he hit 46 off 30 in that win over the weekend. But what RCB also have, Jarrod, is they've also got Jacob Bethell waiting and waiting and waiting. You've also mentioned the other overseas players they've got, Hazelwood, Duffy, you're saying pick them together. Yeah. We know David's a lock. I wonder with Bethell, maybe there isn't as much excitement in India about Bethell as it obviously is in this country, but in my mind I wonder if Salt goes through a bad 1, 2, 3 games because Bethell is so good. He got that T20 World Cup 100 in the semi-finals in India. Will there be the urge at RCB to want to get the young kid in?
I think I'd have the urge to get him in right away.
The way he played. 4
Salts, you mean?
Well, it can only be 4 Salt, can't it?
What about Shepherd?
Yeah.
Well, but sure, that's an option. We're talking about Hazelwood coming in.
Who's the backup wicketkeeper if Salt doesn't keep is my only question.
He didn't even keep. Jitesh keeps.
Oh, of course. Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
So they can,
I might be being really harsh on Phil Salt here because Salt and Cody went really well last year.
Johnny Bairstow's going to be so upset with you.
No, I mean, I think when you get
Can I just say I wouldn't drop Phil Salt?
I'm not saying I would. I'm just saying.
Jacob Bethell is you don't get talent like that.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's one in a generation sort of a talent. When we talk about his talent, we put him in the same periphery as the Jaiswals, as the Shreyas Iyers, or in that level, I would say.
That's
because he's got. See what I like most about his batting. He's not somebody who'll just come out there and go 6s 4s. He's got a brain. He takes those singles. He plays the situation really well, and he is somebody who plays spin really well, which you don't get with a lot of foreign players. And we saw that innings against India. It was one of the best T20 knocks probably I've ever seen. Under that pressure, chasing over 250 in a World Cup semi-final. You got to be a special player to be able to do that. It's not a fluke. That was not a fluke. The way he was carrying that innings wasn't a fluke.
I like Phil Salt because he goes 6-4, 6-4.
Wicket.
But I mean, I think that if you have Phil Salt opening with Virat Kohli, that's almost perfection for me because one guy's going to bat long and the other one could win the game in 3 overs.
Also, if Phil Salt faces 15 balls in the power play, that's kind of job done, right? Because you'll probably get 40 or 15 and then you're happy for the other guys to come in, your Paditaj, your Padicals, your Davis.
But will Jacob Bethell open? He's not going to open.
Okay.
So I think
maybe
probably
Romario
not.
Shepherd then is
probably
possibly
Romario Shepherd. Yes,
that was your fault because I've got Duffy and Hazelwood playing in the same team for RCB now.
I said there is a scenario where you can have both of them playing. But I think going with Bethell instead of Romario Shepherd once Hazelwood is back probably is a better call than going with Duffy and Hazelwood both.
I mean, the issue might be that Bethel's bowling probably doesn't stand up. But to be honest, Romario's going at about 15 runs and over anyway,
exactly.
right? So,
Off the top of my head, I'd love to know what Romario Shepherd's IPL economy rate is. I don't think it's particularly healthy.
well, his last, I think he bowled 1 over in the other game, went for 19.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've said, what did we say on one of the other podcasts? He's the most likely guy in world cricket to go for 1 for 12 and an over.
Yeah. Jamie Overton missed CSK's defeat to Punjab on Friday before returning for their defeat to RCB, hitting 37 off 16. And Jofra Archer wicketless in RR's second game.
Can I just talk about Overton for a second?
Go on.
I think Overton, if you traded him to a better team, would be really, really handy. I know you can't do but if they start to drop off CSK, I'd be really interested in another team who needed 2 to 3 overs of fast bowling and someone who can whack sixes at the end. I just don't see how Overton helps this side because CSK is so poor. It's like, and he's a player that makes a really good side fantastic. He's not a player who makes an average side really good.
And it was good to see, wasn't it, Jofra Archer in that first game against CSK with Nandre Berger, but he looked good in that power play.
It's a lovely partnership, those two. Yeah.
Okay, I think we've wrapped up everything.
So you're dropping
there.
Phil Salt?
No, I'm
Awkward.
not. I'm actually not dropping Phil Salt. I was talking about the unbelievable talent of Jacob Bethell and how RCB can maybe fit him into their team, but we had a mature conversation and we said, sorry, Mario Shepherd, you're out, pal. You're listening. Totally Mario Shepherd doesn't have a go else on Twitter.